Shalom. So I wanted to um, start this off with a discussion of roots, because I think it's really important, if you're going to try to understand um, the Hebrew by yourself, for yourself. Um, the really important part, I believe, is the roots. I am going to be a tiny bit of a heretic and start off by saying that I don't necessarily believe everything that the academics have come up with as far as um, Hebrew grammar and linguistics. I ultimately believe that you have to open the Bible, look into it, and try to understand it. And if there are disagreements, I don't want to be somebody who is just showing you one particular way, my particular way. This is between you and God. So to help make that a little bit more clearer, I'm going to go through how exactly we use stems and hopefully give you a method in which you can try to understand the exact roots for yourself and figure out the roots for yourself. Last time we went through the binyanim, the way the roots be can be conjugated, built, uh, but the really important part, I believe, in order to figure out what a Hebrew word means, especially an uncommon one, but even common ones, is to really figure out the three-letter root that at, is at its root, the shorish of the word. So what we do is we use pe ayin lamed, which is I don't know where it comes from, that is the prototypical root, but and we refer to the letters as start. The first letter is the pe of the root. The second letter is the ayin of the root. The third letter is the lamed of the root. Okay, so when I talk about a root, for example, let's say we're talking about the word melech or malchut, right? So the pe hapoal, the first letter of the root is the mem. The second letter, the ayin hapoal, is the lamed, and um, the lamed halam is chaf. Now he uses the chaf sofit here. The I don't know where the convention comes to put the dots between the letters which make up the three-letter root, but that's also a convention. Um, the usually when you're talking about the root, even we don't use the sofit form. At least that's how I've seen it. There's no really one way of transliterating the letters. Of course, a lot of people just use the Hebrew letters themselves, and if you know the Hebrew letters, you could obviously keep track of words based on the Hebrew lettering. But there is I different people use different conventions when they're transliterating the letters. But I created this chart in case anybody wants to use it to kind of use English letters, which so that you can try to keep track of the various roots that we've seen. You'll see in the concordance it'll talk about the roots. But the part of trying to figure out what it means and what the different ways of interpreting um, is that it's not always clear what exactly the root is. not everybody always agrees what the three-letter root of each word as you're using it is. So let's just go through the letters. Aleph, usually transliterated as A. Bet can be B or V. Now, this is something I want to clarify. If you're talking about the bet, right? So let's talk about the name Binyamin, right? So you would think that Binyamin doesn't change. But in Hebrew, if I'm going to say Levinyamin, right, I want to, Natati Levinyamin, I gave to Binyamin something, right? That because there's the prepositional lamed, the bet actually turns into a vet, and that's perfectly fine. The name gets changed. Same thing happens with other letters, with chaf, with pei. So, for example, Pesach, which is both the Passover and it's a name that people use, that people have, right? So if I gave something to Pesach, Natati lefesach, right? So that turns into an F. His name isn't changing, but it turns into an F. So it's the same letter. How you say it changes. And it also, I mean, if you look at words, we'll actually have in this, in Genesis 4, as we go through it, you'll see that we'll have a name change its vocalization because it comes at the end of a sentence. So, names do change in the Hebrew how you say them based on what's going on around them. And a lot of things change because of what's based on what's going on around them. So it's not as clear as you might sometimes think from the English, especially, we're used to modern day English orthography, right? We've made up how words mean. So it's a lot more clear than it can be in Hebrew. But so the bet can be a B or a V, but that can get confusing. So most people use just B. Gimel, G, that's easy. Daled, D, that's easy. Hey, that gets a little bit more complicated because Chaf and Het both have a similar H sound. So sometimes people, when they're transliterating, they use the hey also for, especially they'll use it for the chaf. Not chaf, sorry, het. They'll also use it for the het, but they'll also use it for the chaf. So it's up to you. There is no standard way, but I thought I would give you a chance to choose for yourself. Vav, you can use you if you're just keeping track of consonants. You can use W. That's probably a better one. It's up to you. Zion. So Z will be used for Zion, but some people will use just the Z for the Tzadi as well, which can get confusing. It's again keeping track of the shorashim, the roots. I think you'll have easier time, but just for your own use, I gave you pretty much ways of doing it yourself, and we'll look at some examples. But then the het, I actually like using X myself. You could use a C or a CH, but that can get confusing with the chaf. For het, I like using the X because it's always, het is always het, right? Whereas chaf, I think using either a C or a K makes more sense because sometimes it's a chaf, sometimes it's a kaf. If you're transliterating whole words, of course, here we're just talking about shorashim. We're just talking about roots. So it's up to you, of course. The tet, there's two T sounds. I distinguish them th for the tough, especially because you'll hear if you're listening to Ashkenazim, they make a big differentiation between the tough and the suf, right? So instead of saying Shabbat, they'll say Shabbos, Shabbos, I guess, Shabbos. So it's the tough at the end, but Sabbath, you'll notice, with the th. Yud, Y is usually good for that, or I guess I you could use, although that seems confusing to me. With the Chaf, you can use the K or the KH. Lamed is easy with the Lamed, with the L. Mem is easy with the M. Nun is easy with the N. Samech can get kind of crazy with Shin Sin, but oftentimes you'll actually see when we're talking about roots that you can use a sin as a samech, and we'll see that especially with like the word nest. We'll talk about it when we get there, but some people will say that the samech and the sin are the same letter. You can use it. If you want to differentiate between them, however you want to do that. For between the shin and the sin, shin and sin are not the same letter. They are not the same letter. They're written the same in the scroll. There is no difference when it's written in the scroll, but they are said very differently, and so they're treated as different consonants, not just different. They're different consonants. Ayin, I am very careful to always do aleph with an A and an ayin with an E. Of course, they're both silent in the way most people say Hebrew, so it's up to you. But ayin with an E is pretty common. Fe, so P or F, pe, fe, it's up to you. Tzadi, some people just use the Z. The TZ gets kind of weird. It is a TZ sound, and you don't want to confuse it with the Zion, but you also don't want to confuse it with the T sounds of Tet and Taf. Quf, right? So some people will use K. I like using Q at all times, especially since in my dialect I was actually taught originally to use the Quf, right? So Yaakov, or Kadosh, meaning holy. So that's me. Resh, R, that's pretty standard. Shin, Sin, we've talked about that. You want to probably, some people will do like S with that for a Sin or an SH. Some people do use capital letters and then lowercase letters, to chaf, they'll do like that, right? Or het, they'll do like that. Again, it's up to you how you want to do it. There is no standard way. I've seen it in many different ways, but to keep track of it. So, right. So we have Pa'al, which is when we talk about the different forms, we say Hitpa'el, we say Hifil, Hufal, right? All the different binyanim, the constructions, they're based on this letter Pe, Ayin, Lamed, which you can keep track of as P-E-L. And this convention, I don't know where the convention comes to put the dots between the letters of the Shorashim, but that's actually, we see a lot, right? And the important thing is to recognize that some letters being guttural are considered weak. So they will change more when you're conjugating, right? So if you have a resh, ayin, het, hey, or aleph, that is gonna, or yud and nun. So that absconds, I say abscond, it hides a lot more. So like katal, that's a strong verb, right? Quf, tet, lamed, all of those are letters. They don't really ever, run away. Whereas the ones with the gutturals, and especially when you have a root that has more than one guttural, you're gonna start seeing, like, for example, vayar, to see, right? So pretty much everybody agrees that vayar is the root of yar is resh a aleph hey, right? Lirot. But even you'll see in the infinitive that hey turns into a t, right? And it's the root is resh aleph hey, but it turns into a tough at the end of the word. This type of stuff happens a lot. Shomer is more of a strong verb, although resh can be weak. Achal, right? The aleph is weak, but we see it a lot, and usually the aleph shows up. But when we talk in the future form, right? The In the future form, the first person, I will eat, starts with aleph, which then makes that aleph kind of go away, abscond, right? And the one verb I kind of wanted to highlight for you, right? So we're going to have a lot of this verb to take in various forms, and there are disagreements around what exactly is the root there, right? Is it qaf, het, hey? Is it lamet, qaf, het? Is it hey, qaf, het? Right? And some people will say in different places, no, this is the root, that is the root. And so how you translate those words wherever you go, it's up to you, right? As we go through, it's, you might take a look at a word and say no, you think it's a different root there. It's going to be pretty hard for you to do it yourself without some understanding of Hebrew grammar. That the morphology and the concordance are there to help you. But if you're making intensive study of a word, really you're trying to figure out what that 3-letter root is, and keeping track of the 3-letter roots, where you see them, and how they transfer from one place to another, is probably one of the most important things you can do as far as translating the Bible for yourself. Okay? So, I mean, these resources are there for you. This website, I'm not going to give any sort of endorsement to the website, but this particular page, I found everything he says to be pretty correct. So use it as you will. And of course, you don't have to use any of this. If you want, we can go through the morphology like we've been going through. And like I said before, if you want to know more about the cantillations, if you want to look inside the script, there is that website by Beverly Hills Chabad, which has Rabbi Shusterman actually singing the entirety of the Torah, and you could see what it looks like in the scroll, as opposed to what we're looking at, right? So that's up to you. But I want this, everything to be as available to you, so that you can make that connection with the Bible personally for yourself, and hopefully, yeah, it'll be a blessing for all of us. Okay, so let's get into Genesis chapter 4. Here, Ve'ha'adam yada et Chava ishto vatahar vateled et Qain vatomer qaniti ish et Havaya, right, name of God. So let's start at the beginning. That is the conjunctive vav, right? Ha-adam, that's the article the. So I don't like actually using the word the name Adam here because there is that article there. So for me, I think it would be better to actually translate it as the man. Yad'a, right? So this is ladat. We've had that to know several times before, and here it's being used euphemistically, to know intimately, right? And they're saying it's in the kal perfect. So see, this is one of the things they're kind of saying here, that yud daled ayin is the root, and I'm not sure I agree with that. I actually think is the root is dea, is dalet ayin hey, and if that is the case, then this yud here is actually telling us that it's in the imperfect, right? So which way are you gonna go? Yeah, so you see how the morphology changes based on how you say the 3-letter root is, and right. So here in Strong's Concordance, they're actually see. They're using the word dot as a separate word, it seems, from some places. Yadati here. So again, it's not like it's very clear. I don't believe that everything that all the rules of grammar always work the way the academics have said. So yeah, you have to take it as it is. It's up to you. But yeah, so yada, they're saying it's kal perfect. They're saying it's just in the in the past tense. Whereas personally, to me, it kind of seems like it's actually in the imperfect. And the man knew Chava, his wife, right? So this is the direct object marker. Chava is the proper name, right? Comes from Chai. Ishto, right? So Isha is the root, so female, woman, right? We've had before, and the hey turns into a tough Ishto, his wife, right? Vatahar, conjunctive vav. So tahar, right? Tough, hey, resh. This may be the first time we've had it to conceive. Is it tahar? Right. So the root is actually hey, resh, hey. They're saying, and they're, even though it starts with a tough here, it's because hey is a guttural, and it's a weak shorish. So you can see how what I started off with happens, and how this can lead to disagreements between translators. Okay, vatahar, and she conceived, right? So this is in the kal form. Va teled, so conjunctive vav. Teled again, leda, so she gave birth. Um, again, I don't agree with them about the root here. Because leda, right, to um, see, yeah, they're saying the root is yud lamed dalet, and it seems to me that the root is actually lamed dalet hey. Uh, that's what it seems to me. But so you can see how that can make changes in how you're relating words to each other, and why you might want to kind of be making your own personal concordance. Actually, it's up to you how you want to take this. Okay, but teled, right? Et Qayin, right? Direct object marker et. Qayin, this is the first time we have the name Cain, right? It's Qof Yud Nun. Vatomar, conjunctive vav. And she said, the taf here at the beginning of the Amar Aleph Mem Resh, we've had many times, is telling you it's in the imperfect, feminine, singular. And she said, right, so now this actually gets kind of strange. It's still qaniti ish et havaya. So qaniti is liknot, to acquire, to buy, right? Kone, right? Qof nun hey. I have, right? I have acquired ish, a man. And then this is a really strange way of using the direct object marker. I was very surprised to see this when I was looking at this. Right, it's the word et, which usually isn't it doesn't get translated, and um, and it usually goes right next to, right, Veteled et Cain, right? She gave birth to Cain, right? But here it says, and she said, I bought, and the et kind of should go, Qaniti et ish. I acquired a man. I bought a man. But it's not. It's, I acquired a man, and they're translating it as the preposition from. Um, I don't know how you would translate that. Um, and then the name of God, right? So possibly, you know, basically it's telling you that the name Cain comes from acquisition, um, from acquiring. But it's, yeah, I don't know how you would translate that. Let's take a look. King James Version. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare bore, I would say, and said, I have gotten, right? So the acquisition here, they're translating as gotten, a man from the Lord. Um, Strange way of saying it, but okay. So let's see what NIV says. Adam, and I think the note here is going to agree with what I said, or the man. Yeah, that's how I would translate it. But I guess King James does Adam, so they left it that way. I would translate it as the man, and they're translating ladat, to know, not euphemistically. Um, that's not a Hebrew phrase, to make love. But I guess they wanted to make people understand what that means, I guess. Okay. Up to them. To his wife, Eve. Okay? And she became pregnant and gave birth to Cain. So let's see what the note is here. Cain sounds like the Hebrew for brought forth. or acquired. I don't know where they're getting brought forth from. Um, yeah, kone is not to acquire, and it's not going. The word brought forth. Um, with the help of the Lord, I have brought forth a man. Let's see what they say, the note, or have acquired. So I guess they're saying that there's a root to bring forth. I can't even imagine what that root would be. Kaniti, right? So they're saying this is a different root. Um, I don't even know which route they would say it is. So no idea. Sorry. Okay. So with the help of the Lord, I have brought forth a man. I don't know where they got that. With the help of the Lord. Uh, yeah. Oh, you know what? Okay. So they're translating the direct object marker as with, right? So yeah, I guess that does make sense, right? I have acquired a man with God, right? Because the direct object marker is sometimes used as with, right? Um, Come with me. You can say bo iti, right? Come with me. Bo iti. Come with me. And they're translating that as the preposition with. I guess I like that better than from. Um, yeah, I definitely like that translation of the it's better that way. Let's see what Chabad says. Now the man knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain. And she said, I have acquired a man with the Lord. Right? Let me see if Rashi, what Rashi says, et havaya kamo aim, right? So he's saying it's like with God, right? When he created me and my husband, he alone created us. But with this one, we are partners with him. And the Midrash says something similarly, right? That God is a partner every time, uh, um, every time, we create. So that's how they did it. Let me close these out so we don't get confused. Okay, so that's verse 2. Verse 1. Let's verse 2. Vatosef laledet et achiv et Havel vayehi Hevel roe son v'Qayin haya oved adama. Okay, so Vatosef. Okay, so now conjunctive vav. This is the root. Is so the two strong letters in this root are the samech and the pe, right? What the third root is and where it is in the in the word can be. So they're saying it's yasaf. They're saying it's yud samech pei is the root. That's okay. I could see that. I could also see somebody saying that it's actually here they have sin pei hey, right? So the Brown Driver Briggs, I guess, is a different concordance. I'm not familiar with it. Is doing it a different way. So again, like I said, the question comes down to what is the three letter root, and there are grammarians who say that actually in Hebrew 2-letter roots there actually you can keep track of 2-letter roots, and 2-letter roots will give you some indication. That's up to you if you want to do that. But so this, you'll see it's like Joseph, Yosef, right? Vatosef means to add, right? The sin and pay together um, usually refer to either an end or addition. So you can see how some people say that it's actually a two-letter root that's being that sometimes you know that the third letter is actually, once you have the three-letter root, the third letter will kind of be modifying that two-letter initial meaning of whatever you're talking about, especially when you're talking about strong letters like samech and pei, which don't, which don't abscond as the other ones do. Okay, laledet. So she again, or she continued to. I would say she continued to. Right, it's in the imperfect. They're saying consecutive imperfect. Vatosef. So, and she again, or she continued. La ledet. So they're saying it's prepositional lamed. And see, now they're saying, so I don't understand how you can say that the infinitive of ladat, right? So they're saying that it's an infinitive of laledet, right? So they're saying laledet is infinitive, but the first root is a yud, the second root is l, is lamed, the third radical is dalid, but at the end of this infinitive there's a tough. That doesn't make sense. Um, you know, they're gonna have to explain that to me, because for me it becomes pretty clear that actually no, the root is lamed dalid hey, the last letter of the of so you see how it's a disagreement about what the shoresh is, and I'm sure the grammarians and linguists have very good reasons why they think I'm completely wrong. And there's a linguist who's smacking his head as if a linguist would ever listen to what I have to say. But I am who I am. Okay, et is the direct object marker. Achiv, right? So ach means brother. Achiv means his brother. Achiv, et, direct object marker again. Havel. So Abel, it doesn't say where the name Hevel comes from. The one, I mean, Hevel is actually, in Chronicles, I want to say it where it says everything is vanities, right? Vanities and vanities. That's actually Hevel there. Hevel can mean fleeting, can also mean like breath. So Hevel Piv, the breath of his mouth. But it's like a fleeting. It's kind of, I guess you could say, wind. Let's see, what are they? I wonder what they say about Hevel. So see, the concordance here isn't telling you that the word Havel shows up in many places in the Torah, not just talking about the son of Adam. And I mean, obviously, when and if we get there, we'll see the verb Havel, but this is the proper noun Havel. And it kind of seems to me that the reason why the Torah explains Cain's name but not Abel's name is because it's actually a much more common word, Hevel. Right? It's a noun meaning. Oftentimes in the Bible it's translated as vanity, but so Hevel, and his life was fleeting. That's for sure. Vayehi, right? Conjunctive vav, yehi, we've had many times. Hevel, this is his name again. Ro'eh, right? So, resh, ayin, hey, means to, well, we usually ro'eh tzon, it's a shepherd, right? So tzon, I guess is sheep. I'm not sure if it's particularly sheep. It might be all small livestock, but yeah, we do use it a lot for sheep. So ro'eh tzon is actually, so it's in the construct form, right? So ro'eh means, ra'ah means to keep, right? Resh ayin hey, to pasture, tend, graze. And ro'etzon is the word shepherd we see so much, which makes sense. You know, shepherd. It's one word, and in the Hebrew, this is smichut. It's construct. It's one. It's together. Smichut, right? Construct. Vekain. So conjunctive of the name Cain. Haya was. Um, Oved. So this is la'avod, right? To serve. They're translating here as a tiller, um, and when we talk about avodah, we often mean the service in the temple. It can also refer to prayers. Oved, right? Somebody who works. Eved also means a slave, right? It's the word that we translate as slave, Eved. So Ayin Bet Daled. So he was a worker, servant, tiller. They have here Adama, right? And I've been translating that word as clay myself to keep it separate from other types of ground, because again, it comes from that root Aleph either Edom, meaning red, or Dam, meaning blood. Okay, verse 2, King James. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. Okay? NIV, later she gave birth, later. So they're saying that Tosef, right, is saying later, I guess? I'm not sure. Later she gave birth to his brother Abel. Now Abel kept flocks, and Cain, worked the soil. Okay, let's see what Chabad does with verse 2. And she continued to bear his brother Abel. See, I like continue better. And there's a reason why I tend to go with Chabad. And Abel was a shepherd of flocks. Yeah, I like that better. And Cain was a tiller of the soil. Okay? That's a very interesting Rashi there. If you are interested yourself, we're not going to get into it. There are interesting things to say about these verses. I am actually a big fan of Jordan Peterson. If you haven't heard him talk about Cain and Abel, it's worthwhile in my opinion. But that's me. Okay. Vayehi miketz yamim, vayave Cain mipri ha'adama minha la havaya. Okay, so Vayehi, we've had that many times. The conjunctive vav, yehi, to be. Mi ketz, right? I think we had ketzeh before. Actually about a thorn or something. So again, so the mem here really does sound like it's the prepositional mem, and the two letters that we can see is the qaf and the tzadi, and you can try to figure out the third what the third letter and where it goes is. Um, I would say it's Kof Tzadi Hey. Is that what they're gonna say? Um, and they're actually just saying Ketz by itself. So that's that. You can see how people start translating the Bible in different ways. Yamim, right? And because this is a patach underneath, and not a, kamatz underneath and not a patach, we know that we're talking about days, not seas, right? Although the consonants itself, it could be, and it was at the end of the seas, right? So again, the traditional thing is that this is a kamatz, therefore it's a day. Vayaveh, so conjunctive vav, and bet aleph hey is to come. Yaveh, if this is in the imperfect hefil, which I agree with them, it is to bring, right? Heavy. So he brought, right? Vayave, and actually this is in the imperfect. Vayave, and Cain would bring, right? Cain, mi pri, conjunctive vav. Pri here is in the construct form, right? That's why it ends with a yud. Mi pri, and then the article here also telling us we're in the construct form. Adama, so from the fruit of the ground. Minha la Hashem. So minha is actually a word that shows up a lot, and it's very commonly in Hebrew when we talk about the minha, we're usually actually talking about the afternoon services, which were it's often also talking specifically from about a meal offering, right? So oftentimes the korban minha, I believe it is a meal. We'll see this many times. I believe it comes from the verb. Well, nun het is definitely in there somewhere, like Noach, right? To rest or to wave. This, so it is an offering that is waved. But it minha does refer to various forms of offerings, and we're going to see that a lot more as we go on in the Torah. So minha. Vayaveh Cain mipri hadama minha la Hashem. So he brought from the fruit of the tree an offering to God, right? So that's the prepositional lamed and Shem Havaya. Okay. Next. Let's go look at the King James. And in the process of time, right? So we were saying Vayehi miketz yamim. So they're saying in the course of time of the days. Vayehi miketz yamim vayave. That is a very strange way of saying it, but okay. Vayehi miketz, in the course of time, and in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. NIV, in the course of time, Cain brought some of the fruits of the Lord. So that's some, right? Miketz. So there's a lot of people, there's a lot of different commentary on what exactly was wrong with Cain, what Cain brought. You can look at all the commentaries, but here they're using that word some of, kind of in a, the NIV seems to be critical of he brought some of the fruits of the soil as an offering to the Lord. Let's see what, so Chabad translates, now it came to pass at the end of days, right? Miketz yamim, right? Ketz yamim is the end of days. right? Ketz, right? That Cain brought of the fruit of the soil an offering to the Lord. And actually, Rashi here kind of is agreeing with the NIV. You can read there. So yeah, the NIV, the way they're reading mi pri from the fruits, right? That mem, they're kind of reading that prepositional mem. They're reading in a critical way of what Cain did. Okay, verse 4:4. Vehevel hevi gam hu mi bechorot tzono umechelvehem veisha havaya et Hevel ve'el minhato. Okay. So the conjunctive vav, the name Hevel, hevi, like we had before, to bring, right? This is in the he-fill form, hevi, and the root is bet aleph hey, and the hey has kind of decided it doesn't want to show up. Gam also, who, right, means he. It's the pronoun he. There's this little sing song. Pretty much all the Jews get in Hebrew school. It's one of the first things we learn is me is who is he is she, right? So because the word me means who, right? The word who in English. Who is he, right? So the word who that we're having here means he, he, the pronoun he in English. He is actually the pronoun in Hebrew, and it's written in the same way with the vav, which can get confusing. But in the we'll see in the Bible, it's actually the consonantal text. He and who get written in the same way, but he means she. Okay, so little sing song there from my days back in Hebrew school. Mi bechorot, right? So prepositional mem, bechor, bet chaf resh is means firstborn, right? And that shows up a lot. So this is the plural form of bechorot, right? It's and they're saying it's in the construct, right? Bechorot tzono, right? So it's one construct, tzon, his flock, and the vav at the end is telling you his, right? So conjunctive vav, me from prepositional mem, chelvehen, right? So this is in the feminine. So tzon is in the masculine. Oh, I guess they're saying that that's kind of curious there. Chalvehen, right? So that hen at the end is the third person feminine plural. Tzon is masculine. Bechorot is also masculine. So it's not quite clear what that of theirs is to me that it's referring to. Maybe we'll see further. Maybe Rashi says we'll see. And chalev, het lamed bet, is a root. We see it. We'll see a lot. It means fat. It can also mean dairy, right? So chalav is milk, right? Chalev is fat. Chalav is milk, or even it can mean to milk something, right? To milk a cow, right? So you can use the concordance there, but the roots I think is pretty clear. It's huff. I mean it's het Lamed Bet. Okay. Vayisha. Okay, that is an interesting, and I'm guessing also Christians probably pay more attention to this word than Jews do. So the vav is the conjunctive vav. Yisha, that yud is probably telling you the imperfect, right? So shin ayin, and so what exactly Yeshua means? Obviously, I'm guessing a lot of Christians who care about the Hebrew already know that word. Yeshua means um, to save, right? But here they're translating it as to look favorably. Shin ayin hey. To gaze, they're saying. Yeah, yesha, yish. So, like we said before, this is where different ways of looking at the root and how you're going to do it is going to make you look at things differently. But Ve'yisha havaya el hevel ve'el minchato, right? And God looked favorably. So it's the context, the more than how. So I would say, yeah, what makes sense to me is that this is a, um, a very rare root, like they're saying, which is not like how we would often. Like, the shin and the ayin are definitely there. Where that third letter, what that third letter is, good luck. But so in context though, Vaisha Havaya El Havel, it sounds like looks favorably. And the concordance had various places where it's also used in that way. So there you go. Havaya, right, the tetragrammaton. El, this is the preposition with the aleph, El, right? And you'll see that they're translating it, alliterating it with an E, right? So I personally, so they're doing it with the vocalization. When I transliterate these types of things, I like to always use aleph for when A for the aleph and E for the ayin. But those two prepositions, they get used in, it's up to you if you want to pay attention to how they're used differently, because they're both actually used very similarly, but they're different words. So it is what it is. Hevel, right? So the name Abel. So looked favorably. Ve'el minhato, right? Conjunctive vav, same preposition with the aleph, el, minhato, right? So minha we had before, offerings. It's the hey turns into a taf, and the vav at the end says his. So minhato, his offering. King James, verse 4, and Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. So the word gum here is very interesting. Gum, right? Also, how exactly are you going to translate that? Let's see what NIV does with it. And Abel also brought an offering, fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flock. Okay. Chabad. And Abel, he too brought of the firstborn of his flocks and of their fattest. So he's actually, aha, see, I like that. See, okay, this is how I was saying I wasn't sure why it's chal behen, right? Why it's in the feminine, because ton is masculine and bechorot is masculine. So why is it saying chal behen, right? So Chabad is translating and of their fattest, right? The fattest of the I actually prefer that, yeah. So instead of their fats, which is what I initially thought. And the Lord turned to Abel and to his offering. So I'm going to actually look at the Rashi here. He's explaining the word Vayisha, right? So he's actually giving the various places where the word Sha'a also means to turn. Okay? So he's giving different verses, being kind of like a concordance here. And so he's saying the reason why this somewhat rare verb is used here is actually because Esh, fire, came to consume it from the heavens. Fire descended and consumed his offering. And that's from apparently the Shir Zuta and Sefer HaYashar. Okay, so very different translation there. Okay, verse 5. Ve'el Qayin ve'el minchato lo sha'a ve'yichar l'Qayin me'ot ve'yiplu panav. Okay, so conjunctive vav, the preposition el with the aleph, Qayin is his proper name, and to Cain, ve'el minhato. So conjunctive vav, the preposition al with the aleph again, minhato, his offering, right? The hey turns into a taf, the vav at the end is saying his. Lo sha'a, lo meaning not, sha'a, right? So same verb we had before, right? So actually, so because this is in the kal perfect, and this is the simplest form of a verb, right? Third person masculine singular perfect kal, like pal, is the simplest form of a word. So I would say that it's very clear that the root word here is shin ayin hey, right? So, which is similar to what we had before, but because this is in Nepal, and it really does seem very clearly that from also the context that this is in the form pal, it's that is the root. That's really showing you what the root is. I would confidently for myself say that the root of this word we're using is shin ayin hey. Okay, that's for me. Vayihar. So vav is conjunctive vav. Yichar. So again, we have to figure out what the root of this is. I would say het resh hey. That seems to be what they also are doing it. So they're saying it's in the so they're saying that yud here is part of the imperfect to get angry, right? So charon af is one of the ways that the Bible talks about the anger of God a lot. And actually, charonaf, so literally it means his nostrils flared, right? A flaring of the nostrils. I guess you could call this a flaring. And you have your concordance there. You can look at other words that are similar. Okay. Vayihar lekain, right? So that is the prepositional lamed. So, and this angered Cain, me'od, adverb very. And we'll have that word. I mean, there are things to discuss about that word, but especially in Deuteronomy 6:5, which obviously is a very important um, verse in both Judaism and Christianity. The word me'od is used there interestingly, and you may want to look up Deuteronomy 6:5, but we're not going to discuss that here. Vayiplu, right? So conjunctive vav, and I would say that the root here is nun pe lamed, but to fall, vayiplu, right? And panav, so face, countenance they have here. The vav at the end is his, and this is in the plural, panim, right? We've had face many times. And it also means insides, right? And his insides fell. So you can translate his face fell, but it can also mean his insides fell. So however you're going to translate that. Verse 5, King James, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. So you see, they translated, and the Lord had respect unto Abel and his offerings, and they're doing, no, he did. For Cain did not have. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell, NIV. But on Cain and his offering he did not look with favor. So Cain was very angry, and his face was downcast. Okay. Chabad, but to Cain and to his offering he did not turn, and it annoyed Cain exceedingly. So they're doing Veyichar is annoyed. I kind of like that better, but what's new? I like the Chabad translation. And his countenance fell. Okay. 4:6. Okay. Vayomer Havaya el Cain, Lama Hara Lach Velama Naflu Panecha. Okay. Conjunctive Vav, Yud, Amar, we've had many times. Havaya, the Tetragrammaton. El, preposition with the Aleph. Qayin, the proper name of Cain. Lama, so this is an interrogatory word. You could say, okay, so some people will treat this as if it is one word, and some people say that it's actually the lamed is the prepositional lamed, and the interrogatory word is ma, meaning what. So lama, some people will say is just why, whereas others will say that lama comes from lema, why, to what, translating becoming why. However you want to understand the word lama. Lama means why, and ma means what, and le means to. So up to you. Lama hara lach. Okay. So this is an interesting way of saying you, because it's actually in the feminine. Okay. And this does happen in the Bible several times, where addressing a masculine, we will actually kind of refer to that male as in the female. And we even do that with God himself. I'm not sure exactly where that shows up. I don't believe that shows up anywhere in the Torah and the 5 books of Moses, but I do believe it does show up in the rest of the Bible, and it certainly shows up many places in other ways within Judaism, because, as I've said before, in Judaism, God is masculine and feminine, as we explained on Genesis 2, I believe it was. Yeah, I believe it was Genesis 2, maybe it was Genesis 1, but we had that already. So chara lach. So why chara is the right charon? We had veichar, right? So same verb, and I would say het resh hey again. Kal perfect is usually the form where you want to understand the three-letter roots. So I would say this is a quintessential example of the root het resh hey. Lama chara lach, and again, so it's the prepositional lamed. The chaf tells you that we're talking in the second person, but this is the feminine singular. Okay, and of course that comes from the vocalizations, which are through tradition. It's not the consonants that are telling you that. It would be written the same way as if it was lacha. And actually, that's a cantillation mark up there, which tells me that part of why it's lach is because of the cantillation, the way this is sung traditionally. And you have to remember that it was not as rare as we seem to think. Especially today, we're so used to things being written and there being so much we know that we don't really memorize nearly as much as it was as people would memorize, especially before they knew how to read and write. So it would not be strange for somebody 2,000 years ago who did not know how to read and write to have the entirety of books of the Bible, certainly Psalms, whole chapters, whole, large amounts of things memorized as a song in the form of the psalm, right? Which is actually the Mishnah, the oral law was never written down, and there was a prohibition of writing it down, so it was memorized. The whole of the Mishnah, people would memorize it, and that was one of the reasons there's that whole discussion. But so people had the 5 books of Moses memorized. I don't want you to think that before somebody thought to write down the cantillations and the vocalizations, it was that much up in the air. It was, but it also wasn't. In some ways, it was actually less up in the air than the consonantal text, because lots and lots of people had lots and lots of things memorized. Like they would go to synagogue, they would not be able to read themselves. But if you were to misread something that people knew, they would correct you. They did know the songs in much the same way that as we have songs memorized with their cantillations, with how the rhythm goes. Obviously, I don't, because I'm a horrible singer and I can't remember. I just can't memorize songs at all. But that's me being me. So lach, there we go. Velama, so conjunctive vav, and again this word lama, interrogatory. And interestingly here, right? They don't have the prepositional. So in the same sentence, they're using different morphology. I'm not sure why lama here is an interrogatory by itself, and lama here has a prepositional lamed, and the interrogatory is mem hey. I guess possibly the person who was doing the translation is actually saying lema chara lach, right? What is it? Possibly because the person who's doing the morphology here is actually saying ma goes lach, right? What is it that? So the feminine here, I see. That's what they're doing. Okay, I guess. This these are the types of things that we get into when we are actually looking into the Hebrew that you could never translate, right? What exactly is going on here? Velama naflu fanecha. And why naflu, right? Nafal to fall, and it's in the plural because panecha, panim, countenance, insides, face, is plural, and the chaf at the end being the second person masculine singular. And just I want to say, obviously we may want to not pay attention to every little thing. I disagree with that. This is the Bible. This is our gift from God, and He has given it to us in the form it is, and every letter is important. Every sound, every little thing that is different because I believe because this is what God has given us. So that's my little bit of theology for the day. 4:6, King James, and the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? And they're translating, then the Lord said to Cain, why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? Chabad, and the Lord said to Cain, why are you annoyed, and why has your countenance fallen? Okay, next verse. 7. Halo im tetiv se'et ve'im lo tetiv lafetach hatat rovetz ve'elecha teshukato ve'ata timshal bo. Very interesting sentence. I actually was discussing this sentence and its translation with a friend of mine who is Christian minister, and we were discussing the doctrine of election and everything here. It's interesting sentence here. So halo, right? So the hey here is the article, but sometimes hey used in this way as the article actually tells us that is it not, right? That it is interrogatory. I think we had that before, and we'll have it again in the famous verse Hashomer achi anochi, am I my brother's keeper? We'll see it there. But so the hey here is kind of turning this into an interrogatory, and this is one of the very rare times that the word lo, not, is in bemilui. It's written fully with the vav in the middle there. Oftentimes the vav isn't there, right? Halo, is it not? And of course, if you believe as I do that every letter matters when something is written bechisaron or bemilui, matters, I believe. Okay. Halo im, if, right? Tetev, right? So the root here is actually kind of, so the tet and the bet are definitely there. The question is, where is that third letter? Tov means good, right? So, and they're saying that this is in the hifil, in the causative, there's two yuds here, so there is some causative manner here. The tough at the beginning is telling you that it's an imperfect. They're translating as you do well. I would say if you improve, cause to be good, improve. In the imperfect, meaning it's not a completed action, it's an incomplete action. When we say perfect and imperfect, we're actually saying complete and incomplete. I know the word perfect kind of means something different in English. Tetev, if you improve. Sha'et. So Shin Aleph. Hey, this is I'm not actually very familiar with this word. And see, in the Hebrew itself, it seems so. Oh, actually, they're saying this is set. So this is that a sin? And I've been reading it. Yeah, I have been reading a shin as a sin. I mean, a sin as a shin. So set, that is the small, right? Tetev, yeah, that is a sin, right? Set, so sin aleph hey, maybe, is means to raise. They're translating it as to accept, but it means to raise. If you improve, will it not be raised? Will it not go up? I guess is how I would look at that word. Yeah, sorry, I was misreading the word with shin, because I was thinking in the previous we had shin ayin, right? But this is sin aleph. Two letter, looks very similarly, said kind of differently, and yeah, it is what it is. But this verb sin ayin, sin aleph hey, and actually samech aleph hey, show up in a lot of the Torah. To raise, to be, flag is a nes, a miracle also, similar word, related word, possibly. Yeah, it all goes back to the roots and which roots you believe are related to each other. Ve'im, conjunctive vav, im, if, lo, and here not is written bechisaron. It's written without the vav, right? It's not written fully without that vav in the middle. And obviously in Judaism, we do kind of translate that fullness to kind of, it's the positive. The first no is written with fullness. It's written bemilui. That second no is written bechisaron, in lacking. It's kind of reflecting the meaning of the verse itself as well. So, tetev, right? Tetiv, again, same word from tov, good, improve. Ve'im lo tetev, and if you do not do, lapetach chatat robetz. So interesting way of, how you're going to translate this. So the lamed here is the prepositional lamed. It is la petach. So there's the article there. Petach is opening door, right? At the door. La petach. Chatat. So het taf, aleph is sin. Okay? It is to sin. It comes from the root. Also in I believe in either English or Greek. I'm not a big thing of Greek, but it means to actually miss, like with an arrow, like when you shoot with an arrow. So sin, and I know there are lots of commentaries which talk about the word sin as in to miss, and here chatat is this sort of missing, right? Lapetach chatat, right? So, and it's kind of strange that it has that tough at the end. Chatat rovetz. Chet is often without that tough. And so why it's with that tough at there. Maybe Rashi talks about it, but lafetach chatat, right? At the door is sin. There's no is in the well, chatat rovetz. So the verb to crouch, right? It's actually more common than you might think. So you can use your concordance here, resh bet tzaddik to they're saying lies. I would say crouch, you know, especially kind of like how a cat or a lion crouches at the ready, right? Lafetach chatat rovetz, right? At sin is crouching at the door. Ve'elecha teshukato, right? So conjunctive vav, el being the preposition with the aleph. There's the yud is there, elecha, right? Upon you. The chaf is second person. Ve'elecha teshukato. Now, if you remember back when we were talking about Adam and Eve, part of the results of the sin was God says to Chava, says to Eve, your teshukah, your desire, shall be to your husband, and he shall rule over you. Right. So we had that in the previous chapter. Let's actually go back and take a look at that chapter. It's very similar wording, right? God says to Eve, where was that? That's the verse, right? So look at the verse 16, right? 3:16. El ha'isha amar harbe arbe etzvonech veheronech be'etzev teldi vanim ve'el ishech teshukatech vehu yimshol bach, right? To your husband shall be your desire, and he shall rule over you, right? And then here we have kind of the opposite, but in very similar wording, right? It's ve'elecha teshukato ve'ata timshol bo, right? And upon you is his desire, right? Talking about sin, right? Ve'ata timshol bo, and so teshukato, it's that same verb here. Noun here, teshukatech, in verse 16 in chapter 3. Teshukato, right? The vav at the end is saying his, third person masculine singular, teshukato. Conjunctive vav, ve'ata, and you. Timshol bo, right? The taf is in the imperfect. Mashal that's the root. Mem shin lamed, a big strong root there. Bo, upon it, right? And in the same way that we had vehu yimshol bach, right? And your husband and he, Adam, shall rule over you, right? Very interesting similarities here. Let's see how King James translates verse 7. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, right? Talking about sin, and thou shalt rule over him. NIV, verse 7. If you do what is right, right? So they're translating. So I would say tetev means improve yourself. They're saying do what is right. That is a different way of understanding that verb tetev. Will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. I don't know where they got your from, but at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it. And of course, the conjunctive of sometimes is and, sometimes is but. So yeah, that kind of makes sense. Let's go back to chapter 4 on Chabad's website, verse 7, right? Is it not so that if you improve, they also, yeah, I like improve much better here. It will be forgiven you. So set, they're translating set as, so linso avon, right? We say that God lifts, right? Lifts sin, okay? So they're actually translating the set here as linso avon, to remove sin. It will be forgiven you if you do not improve, however. And I'm not sure exactly where they got the however from. At the entrance, sin is lying, and to you is its longing, but you can rule over it. Right? I personally just want to see the Rashis here. I hope you don't mind. Tetev, he's taking from the Targum. At the entrance, your sin is preserved. Lefetach hatach rovetz. Lefetach kivrecha chatat shemor. Oh, wow! That is a different way of understanding it that Rashi's saying. I'm not going to get into commentaries here. You can look at the Rashi if you would like. I just find that word chatat. This is not. This is a little bit of a strange way of phrasing things, which always makes me more curious. Okay, let's go on to the next verse. Verse 8. Vayomer Cain el Hevel achiv, vayehi bihyotam besadeh, vayakom Cain el Hevel achiv, vayahargenhu. Oh, Cain, how could you? Okay, conjunctive of Yud, telling us it's an imperfect. Vayomer, we've had many times. Amar, to say. Vayomer Cain el Hevel. Okay, so Cain, that's obviously the proper noun. Hevel is the proper noun. El is the preposition with the aleph. Vayomer Cain el Hevel achiv. So they're translating it as they spoke together, which I can understand it translating it that way. So, and Hevel spoke with his brother. Vayehi bihyotam besadeh. Vayehi, we've had many times, conjunctive vav, yehi, to be, and it came to pass, and it was. Bihyotam, so prepositional bet. Hiotam, lihiot is the infinitive, right? Right, of Yehi, Bihiotam, right? Haya is Hey, Yud, Hey is to be, and the Hey at the end is turning into a Taf. Bihiotam, third person masculine plural, being that they were, Ba Sadeh. So again, prepositional bet, the patach underneath the bet is telling you that the articles there in the field. Sadeh, we've had the field many times. Vayakom Qayin. So Vav is the conjunctive Vav. The root here, comma, right, Qof Mem Hey, yeah, that's so the Quf and the Mem are definitely there. This can be kind of a difficult verb because there are similar verbs with that. So yinkom, right? Nekama means vengeance. But here, I agree with them. Vayakom and rose up. Qayin, El Havel, again, prepositional El with the Aleph, Havel, his proper name, Achiv, Ach meaning brother, Achiv, his brother, Vayahargehu. So the root here, Hey Resh Gimel, is to kill, right? As at murder, as it is a Bal Ta'arog, right? In the Ten Commandments, it says, "Do not kill," right? And this is the same root, Hey Resh Gimel. So that Vav at the beginning is the conjunctive Vav. The Yud is in the imperfect. Ehu, the Hey and the Vav at the end means to him, right? Third person masculine singular. So, and he killed him, right? He caused him to be killed, possibly. Okay, let's see how it gets translated by King James, verse 8. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. Verse 8 in NIV. Now Cain said to his brother Abel, "Let's go out to the field." Well, that's a interesting way of translating that. I'm not sure I agree. They have okay, so they're telling us that this verse 8, Samaritan Pentateuch, Septuagint, Vulgate, and Syriac, Masoretic text does not have "let's go out to the field." So the Masoretic text obviously is the text that the Masoretes, the rabbis, the scribes have given us, and the Samaritan, Septuagint, Vulgate, and Syriac are the Christian versions that were preserved over the years. So that's how they got that there, because in the Hebrew it just says they spoke to each other. It doesn't say what they said. Let's see, maybe Rashi will say. I know I really like Rashi. I've studied the whole of Genesis with all of the Rashis, but it's hard to remember all of them. Okay, Chabad. And Cain spoke to Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. Right? So, and Rashi does explain here. There are agadic interpretations on this matter, but this is the plain meaning of the verse. And of course, Rashi only talks about the plain meaning. Why exactly? What does it mean that they spoke with each other? Okay, verse 9. Vayomer Havaya el Cain E hevel achicha, vayomer lo yedati, hashomer achi anochi. Famous, not last words, but close to them. Conjunctive vav, yomer, imperfect, of amar, to say. Havaya is the tetragrammaton. El, prepositional with the aleph. Gayin is the name Cain. A, hevel, right? So this is an interrogatory word. Aleph, yud, a, how is it? Where is it? Right? It's an interrogatory. A Hevel. So what's up with Hevel, right? A Hevel, where is Hevel? Achicha, and God reminds him he's your brother. Ach, meaning brother, and Chaf at the end, yours. Vayomer, so conjunctive vav, imperfect, amar, to say, and he said, referring to Cain, obviously, lo yadati, lo, not bechisaron, as it is almost always, yadati. So this is a bit of a strange way of dot, right, to know, but it is the same know as we've been using several times in different manners. Lo yedati, I do not know. I did not know. It has not been made to me. I kind of disagree with how they're. So they're saying that the yud is actually the pei hapoal, is the first letter of the root, and I think it's part of the conjugation. That is how I would see it. Not how they're seeing it. And the tough yud at the end means I is puts it in the first person, singular. Ha. So the hey here, the article is being used to turn it into a question, like we discussed before. Ha shomer, keeper, right? Shin mem resh. Ha shomer, am I the keeper? Achi, right? Ach, meaning brother. And the yud at the end here is telling us my brother, right? First person singular. Achi anochi. And anochi is a more formal way of saying I, as opposed to ani, which is the more common way. Hashom, am I my brother's keeper? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Look what you did. Okay, verse 9, King James. And the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. So, yeah, they're actually translating it more like I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Let's see what NIV says, verse 9. Then the Lord said to Cain, where's your brother Abel? And I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? He replied. So they're translating Vayomer, he said, to replied. Am I my brother's keeper? And they're both translating I don't know in a slightly different way than the morphology here seems to have it. Anyway, I don't know. So, verse 9, Chabad, and the Lord said to Cain, where is Abel your brother? And he said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? Okay. Okay. Verse 10. Let's see here. Okay. Vayomer, again, conjunctive vav, imperfect. Amar, to say. Meh asita Kol demei achicha tzoakim elai min ha'adama. Me, so conjunctive vav, imperfect. The yud is telling us it's an imperfect. Amar me, interrogatory. Usually that's ma, but I guess here it's me. That's how it's done. Asita, to do, right? We've had to do, and this is in the tough at the end. It puts it in the second person masculine singular. Ma asita, what did you do? What have you done? Qol, and this is voice written b'milui, written completely with the vav in the middle. The voice of Qol deme, and it's in the construct because it's going with deme achicha, right? Qol deme achicha, one big construct here. Damim means blood. It's always in, well, not always in the plural, but damim is usually. Dam means blood. Damim is plural of blood. Deme is the construct of the plural, right? So that's why it's with the yud, not the mem, not another mem at the end. It would be damim if it wasn't in the construct. Achicha, ach meaning brother. Achicha is your brother. So the voice, the sound of the blood of your brother, right? It's one construct. And then kol demei achicha. So akim. So tzadek ayin qof. I'm not sure we've had that before. I mean, to cry out, to shriek, I guess you could say. So akim, and that's just telling you it's in the plural masculine. So the blood is crying out. Actually, it's in the plural. Elai, El being the preposition with the aleph, and the yud saying unto me, right? Are calling out to me, are crying out to me. Min ha'adama. So min, it's a more complete form of the preposition. It's not, usually it's meh we use as a sort of as a prefix, mehadama, right? But this is min from hadama. Yes, it's a bit more. He is the article, adama, clay. We've spoken before, and it makes sense that dame ha'adama, because adama comes from the word blood, is related to the word blood. Okay, let's see what King James says about verse 10. And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. NIV, the Lord said, what have you done? Listen. Listen. Where did he get the listen from? I don't see it. Listen. Okay. Your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. And there's no note there, which is surprising. Oh, is it? So, me asita. Oh, so they're translating me as listen. Huh. I guess. Maybe we'll look at the Rashi and see what he says. But yeah, they're translating me hark. No, me asita kol. What have you done? Hark. I don't know why they get hark from. Maybe no. I'm not sure. Qol demei achicha tzoakim alai min ha'adama. I don't understand where they get that, and it's not something that Rashi's saying either. Okay. Me asita. Both them, I mean, they say listen as well, but King James doesn't. Unless they're translating Cole voice. Oh, okay. I guess if you translate Cole here as not being part of the construct, then me asita, Cole, voice, right? There is a sound. Deme achicha tzoakim alai, min ha'adama. I think I'm going to have to go with the King James myself. It does make sense to me that this is one smichut. And it does not make sense to me that kol should be translated here, listen. I don't know why they would do that. So, yeah. Guess I'm in the minority here. Okay. Verse 11. Ve'ata arur ata min ha'adama asher patzta et piha lakachat et deme achicha miyadecha. Okay. Conjunctive vav, this is ata with an ayin, meaning now. Et is a time. Ata can mean now, right? At this time. The ata arur, we've had curse before, and this is, that vav there is telling you cursed. It is in the past participle, they're saying. So the root is aleph resh resh, and the arur there is saying cursed, right? Ata, you are. Ata, you are. You. The verb to be is inferred there. Min ha'adama. So very similar way we said min ha'adama, and here it says min ha'adama. So the blood was screaming from the land, from the clay, and you are cursed from the clay. Asher, prepositional which. So they call it a pronoun relative. Okay. Patsta, right? So the verb here, I would say, is pe tzade he. We haven't had this before. It means to spread out, actually. Yafutsu ma'anesecha chutza. To spread out. We'll see it in other places. To break open. I guess break open could make sense here. They're translating as has opened. Patsta, right? So this is in the feminine because we're talking about Adama, right? Patsta, right? She opened. Et, direct object marker. Piha, right? Pe is a mouth. Piha is her mouth. Lakachat, to take, right? Lakachat et deme achicha. Direct object marker. Damim here in the construct form of blood. Deme achicha, the blood of your brother. The chaf at the end is your brother. Mi yadecha. So prepositional mem, yad meaning hand, chaf, you, second person masculine singular. Okay? So let's look at King James Version, verse 11. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. Okay. NIV, now you are under a curse and driven from the ground. So they're translating Arata min ha'adama asher patzta et piha. I'm not sure why they're and driven from the ground. I'm not exactly sure where they're getting their words here. Which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. Let's see what Chabad says. And now you are cursed even more than the ground. Aha, right? So God cursed the ground in earlier, right? Yeah. And here it says now you're more cursed than the ground, which opened its mouth to take your brother's blood from your hand. So yeah, they're translating. It's not that the ground is cursing you; it's that the ground is cursed, and you are even more cursed. Yeah, this Rashi previously spoke about the ground being cursed because of Okay, you can go and look there if you want. Okay, verse 12. Ki ta'avod et ha'adama lo tosef tet kocha lach na vanad tihye va'aretz. Okay, interesting. Ki, right? That's, well, they're saying when. I would say because. Ta'avod, you shall. The taf at the beginning is putting this in the imperative. We had ayin bet dalet is the root to till or to work. Et is the direct object marker. Ha-adama, the article, clay. Lo, bechisaron, not without the vav. Tosef, right? So this is same root, I would say, as we had with Eve giving birth to Havel. It says, and she continued, right? Lo tosef, shall not continue. And this is in the command form, possibly. You can try to figure out the samach bet, the pay is definitely there. Tet, to give, latet, right? And that this is a very unusual. It's a very unusual verb we have, to give, right? Latet we've had before, and you can look in the concord. This is a form of to give, right? Tet kochah. So koach means strength. Kocha means her strength. And so she's not going to give you her strength anymore. Lach. And again, this is, we're back to, for some reason, God refers to Cain as in the feminine. Very strange. Again, it's in the feminine you, right? Preposition lamed, and this is in the second person feminine. Not, right? This is another verb which, it's a difficult verb. Nun ayin often refers to movement, right? And here na vaned, you can hear the You can hear the onomatopoeia here. Vanad. Actually, let's see where they that second letter. Yeah, that second word I'm not as familiar with, but they're saying it's 24. Yeah, 24 times. Um, Na vaned. So a fugitive and a wanderer. They're saying. But I think this is more. It's like telling you go back and forth, right? Na vanad tihye, right? You shall be. Um, Ba'aretz, right? So prepositional bet has the article ba'aretz, in the land. Let's see what King James does with verse 12. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. NIV, when you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crop for you. I guess this is, yeah, I kind of understand this better because it earlier said that he works the ground, but you will be a restless wanderer. So they're doing na vened as a restless wanderer on the earth. Okay, let's see what Chabad does with verse 12. When you till the soil, it will not continue to give its strength to you. You shall be a wanderer and an exile in the land. Okay, verse 13. Vayomer Cain el Havaya gadol avoni minsoa. Aha, so that's interesting. Conjunctive vav at the beginning, Yomar, we've had many times. Imperfect of to say. Cain, that is his name. El, preposition with the aleph. Havaya, the tetragrammaton. So Cain says to God, Gadol, and this is Gadol here is written bemilui, it's written fully. Gimel Daled Lamed is big, to grow. Gadol, Avoni. This may be the first time we've had Avon before. Ayin Vav Nun. They're saying punishment. I disagree with that. Iniquity, guilt, punishment, right? And you can look at the concordance. This is something that shows up a lot. Avon, right? Avoni minsoa. So that's a prepositional mem, and then if you'll remember, we said earlier the way Chabad was translating to rise being forgiveness, because right. So minsoa gadol avoni minsoa. It is more than I can bear. Yeah, you could translate it that way. It can also be. You can also translate it as my sin is too much to be forgiven. I think either one of those translations is makes sense there. Let's see how King James does it. Verse 13. And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. And NIV, Cain said to the Lord, my punishment is more than I can bear. Okay? And is it going to be a trifecta? And Cain said to the Lord, is my iniquity too great to bear? Um, and yeah, you'll. Oh, okay. You can look at the Rashi there. Um, I prefer this to bear here because the Hebrew does not make it clear who is bearing um, bearing the sin. Rashi says that this is a question based on, actually there's more than one Targum, Targum Yonatan and Yerushalmi. Yeah, so the rabbinic sources say that this is a question he is asking. It's not quite clear from the text that this would be a question, but it's not that it couldn't be a question, obviously. Okay, verse 14. Hen. So hen. Gerashta oti hayom me'al pnei ha'adama umipanecha Esther v'hayiti na vanad ba'aretz v'haya kol motzi yehargeni. Okay, this is an interesting verse in my opinion. So hen can mean it's an interjection, yes, right? So surely hen. So yes. Gerashti. Now you'll notice that this is the same Gimel Resh Shin. I said previously that refers also to divorce, Gerushin, right? This is the same verse that God used when we were talking about Adam being driven out of the Garden of Eden. But here, Gerashta, right? So this is second person, masculine singular, Gerashta, you have driven. Oti, so et is the direct object marker, and the yud says it's referring to me, right? Oti, you have driven me out. Hayom, so it's the article hey and the word yom written b'milui with the vav. The day, hayom, right? When we refer to the day, we mean today, right? That's used in Hebrew a lot. Hayom, today, right? Hayom, this day. So when we say the day, we mean this day. Me'al, prepositional mem, the preposition al with the ayin. Penei, right? We've had face many times in the construct form. Ha-adama, so this is the face of the earth. Ha is the article, adama, clay, I've been translating. Umi panecha, so conjunctive vav, the prepositional mem. Panecha, right? Panim means face, here clearly face. Panecha, right? Your face. Chaf at the end, meaning you. Esther, right? So, esater, sorry. And this is, so this actually shows up many times in this particular form. And the name Esther, right, from the book of Esther, is written the same way. And so seter samech taf resh means to hide. Okay, and I believe I'm not sure if we've had this before, but so I would actually look at the concordance here. This is it is an interesting word, but samech tet resh means to. It is the root to hide, right? And the aleph at the beginning puts it in the first person common singular, first person singular of the imperfect, esater. I shall hide, right? Or here it's saying I shall be hidden, because Ester means I shall hide. Esater is actually in the nifal, is in the passive, right? Nifal, right? So based on the vocalizations. Vehaiti, so the vav is the conjunctive vav. Haiti, written bemiluin, you'll see it actually has two yuds, right? Haiti, so haya is the verb to be. Haiti, I shall, I was, yeah, conjunctive perfect. Yeah, so the yud at the end is telling you I, right? It's first person. Haiti. And I was, and I shall be. See, this yud here is making me actually think that this might be hefil, and I shall become, right? Which is not how they're doing the morphology. Um, it seems to me that it might be hefil, it might be in the causative. Okay, na vaned, exact same thing that God said before about na vanad, right? To go back and move and wander. That's a conjunctive vav there. Ba'aretz, prepositional bet with the article aretz, land. Vehaya, so conjunctive vav, haya, kol, and it shall be, it will come to pass, vehaya. This is something we see a lot. So again, that same root to be. Kol, all of, right? Motzi. So this is to find, right? So the root here, tzadik aleph, right? Motzi, to find, I guess it can also mean to put out, but yeah, motzi, anybody who finds me, right? The yud here is putting it in the first person singular, finds me, any who find me. Yehargeni, right? So again, that same root we had to kill, hereg, hey, resh gimel, yahargeni, right? It's an imperfect with the yud and the nun yud saying me, right? Shall kill me, right? King James Version of verse 14. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and for thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth, and it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. Okay? And verse 14, here it is. Today you are driving me from the land, and I will be hidden from your presence. I will be a restless wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me. Chabad, behold, you have driven me today off the face of the earth, and I shall be hidden from before you. And I will be a wanderer and an exile, and it will be that whoever finds me will kill me. Yeah, I like the Chabad. Okay, verse 15. Vayomer, so conjunctive vav, yud, omer, imperfect, of amar, we've had lo, to him, right? The prepositional lamed, and the vav says to him. Havaya, that's the tetragrammaton. Lachen, so therefore, yeah. I guess this is the prepositional lamed, and with the chen, right? Yes, therefore, thus. Lachen, kol horeg kain shiv'atayim yukam vayashem vayasem havaya lekain ot lebilti hakot oto kol motzo. Okay, so let's so vayamer lo havaya, God said to him, lachen, therefore, kol horeg, right? So same root, we had hey resh gimel, horeg, whoever kills, kain, right? And it's talking to Cain, but God, I guess, is announcing shiv'atayim, right? So sheva, shin bet ayin is 7. Shiv'atayim, right? So this is a way that we say in Hebrew fold, right, times, right? Shiv'atayim. I'm not sure how they do the FD, what they mean by FD. Can I figure out FD? Numbers. I'm not sure what the morphology is supposed to mean FD here, but Shivatayim, number FD, fold maybe, I guess. But we have this in Hebrew. It's not an uncommon thing. Shivatayim, 7 times, right? Shivatayim, right? So literally, it's actually 2 sevens. 7 upon 7. Shivatayim, you come. Okay, so I think I mentioned this before. Qof mem, right? So we know that word is there. Nekama nun qof mem is to take vengeance. And here you come, so they're saying it's in the hofal imperfect. I guess. So if it comes from nekama to take vengeance, yes, you come. It can also mean shall be established, I think. You come, right? Because kama means, kuf mem hey means to stand up. And we had that before. Shivatayim you come, but I think that makes sense. It shall be, vengeance shall be taken. Vayasem, so conjunctive vav, and here again I lasum, to put, right? Yeah, this is to put. Sim, I am not sure if we've ever had this before, but to put. Vayasem, and God caused to be put. Havaya, tetragrammaton, lekain, to Cain. Ot, so this may be the first time we've had ot. It means a mark. Yeah, we had ot before when we talked about the Sabbath. I think we had it before when we talked about the Sabbath. It shall be a sign, and this is written b'milui with the vav, lebilti, and I think we've had bilti before. So this is a prepositional lamed, bilti, lest. I think we've had lest before, but yeah, that makes sense. Hakot, they're translating this to kill, but actually it means to strike here. Hakot, to smite, yeah. And it does show up many times in the Bible. Let's see, 500 occurrences. It means to strike. Hakot. Oto. So this is the object marker. to him, third person masculine singular, kol, all of, motzo, right? So same way he said before, who shall find me, motzo is someone who finds him. If that mem is actually part of the root, which I believe it is. The other version would be to say that the first letter is actually a hey, and means to, yeah. No, motto makes sense. To find. Let's see, King James, verse 15. And the Lord said unto him, therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. Okay? But the Lord, so NIV, but the Lord said to him, not so. Not so. Okay, we'll see what the note is. Anyone who kills Cain will suffer vengeance 7 times over. Then the Lord put a mark on Cain so that no one who found him would kill him. Right? So let's see what the thing says. So again, this is Septuagint, Vulgate, and Syriac. The Hebrew is very well. So not so, but so. They're basing it on them. Chabad, and the Lord said to him, therefore, whoever kills Cain, vengeance will be wrought upon him sevenfold. And the Lord placed a mark on Cain that no one who find him slay him. Okay? Verse 16. Vayetze Cain milifnei Havaya vayeshev be'eretz Nod kidmat Eden. Okay. So conjunctive vav, and so this is yetze. So this is to come out. Again, you're gonna have to figure out which shorashim you think it is. But here, vayetzet, he went out, makes sense to me. Vayetze in the imperfect. Cain, Cain. Mi lifnei, from before, so prepositional mem, prepositional lamed, pene, face, kind of, so presence, right? It's in the construct form, lifnei. Havaya, that's the tetragrammaton. Vayeshev, so conjunctive vav, and yeshev, again, shin bet, can mean to set, to sit, to settle. Vayeshev, I would say a yishuv is a settlement. Vayishuv, vayeshev be'eretz. So prepositional bet, there's no article the in the Hebrew. Eretz, in land, nod, and you'll notice that nod is similar to nad, right? We said na venad, right? There is a similarity there. Nod, and he in the land of Nod, right? Eretz Nod. Kidmat Eden. So this is in the construct. Kedma means towards front or east, right? Kidmat Eden, east of Eden, right? So King James 16. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. And verse 16 in the NIV. So Cain went out from the Lord's presence and lived in the land of Nod, east of Eden. The note here, F, Nod means wandering. See verses 12 and 14. Right. And so Chabad translates it a bit differently, and I actually prefer this. And Cain went forth from before the Lord, and he dwelt in the land of the wanderers to the east of Eden. Right. So instead of using Nod as a sort of as a proper noun, they're using it as a right, and obviously there's a long Rashi there. Okay. Verse 17. Vayeda Cain et ishto v'tahar v'teled et Chanoch Vayehi vone ir vayikra shem ha'ir keshem beno Chanoch. Okay. Okay. So conjunctive vav vayeda, and he knew. Right. We've discussed this before. This is in the euphemistic. Cain et ishto, direct object marker. Ishto, his wife, right? So it's Isha is, and it's Isha is woman. Ishto is his wife. The hey turns into a taf and the vav means his. Vatahar, conjunctive vav, similar to how we had with Eve, and she conceived. Vateled, conjunctive vav, again, leda, to give birth to. We've had similarly earlier this chapter. Et, that is the direct object marker. Chanoch, so this is obviously they're translating Enoch. Chanoch, so chinuch means to educate, educate your children. Chanoch, it actually literally means educated. Okay. Vayehi, so conjunctive vav, yehi, we've had many times, and it was boneh, right? So binyan, bet nun he, means to build. We've had that before, I believe. Boneh ir, he was a builder. Ir is a city. Vayikra, we've had many times before. Conjunctive vav, they yud telling you it's imperfect. Kara, to call. Kofresh aleph. Shem, meaning name. Ha'ir, article, and ears, the city, right? And he called that city, the city. Keshem, so ke is the prepositional kuf, meaning like. Shem, name. Ben means son, o being his. Chanoch, so his son's name was Chanoch, and he called the city Chanoch. Okay, verse 17. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived, and bare Enoch, and he builded a city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. Okay, verse 17. Cain made love, again, they're changing the euphemism, to his wife, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. Cain was then building a city. So they're translating Vehi boneh ir, right? Vehi. So they're translating it, and he was building a city, whereas King James says, and he was a city builder, which I like better. Vehi boneh ir, and he was a. That makes more sense to me. We'll see what Chabad does, but so NIV. And at that time, Cain was then building a city, and he named it after his son Enoch. Okay, Chabad. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch, and he was building a city. So they're also saying like that based on Rashi. And he called the city after the name of his son Enoch. Okay. And now we're going to get into the begets, I think. So let's go. Verse 18. Vayivaled lechanoch et Irad, ve'Irad yalad et Mechuyael, uMechuyael yalad et Metushael, uMetushael yalad et Lamech. Okay, so I'm just gonna say what I said before, that in Hebrew, names do change with how with what you're saying in context. So you shouldn't think in a similar way in Hebrew where in English, where names don't change, right? If your name is Binyamin with a B sound, it's always going to be Binyamin. It's never going to be Vinyamin. Or your name Pesach, it's always going to be Pesach. It's never going to be Fasach or Fesach. Whereas in Hebrew, that it will change. Fasach will be how we refer to somebody's name if it's in the correct part of speech. Okay. Vayivalet. So this is a strange. So this is you'll notice that Yalad here, right? The begat here is in the kal, but Yivaled here, they're saying it's the nifal, Vayivaled, and was born. I guess, yeah. It's a strange way of conjugating the verb, and possibly it's a different verb than actually to yalad, right? Vayivaled of Vlad, right? So the concordant, the Strong's is putting it in the same. So again, like I said, these two might be the same verb, or they may be similar verbs. Yivaled, right? Okay, Vayivaled. So you see that vav, it kind of changes from the other ones. I think it is right to read this as a more passive form. Vayivaled, and was born lechanoch, to prepositional lamed, and was born to Chanoch et Irad, right? So the direct object marker. And actually, so you'll see sometimes there are ets and there aren't when we talk about begats. And actually, there are explanations, like I said before, the et direct object marker, which doesn't translate to the English. In Judaism, we say that it comes to actually include other things, which may, in fact, when we say that somebody begat something with the et, it's possible that there were twins, there were multiple children, and that's one of the explanations, actually, which are given by the rabbis on how it is that we have all these people. Who are they marrying, right? Where do these other people come from? It is actually that more people were born. The Bible only names certain ones of them, right? So, and was born to Chanoch, Irad, right? I'm not actually sure that the word Irad, where that comes from. Ayin Resh Daled. I don't have any insight into that name. Ve'irad yalad et Mehuyael. Okay, so and Irad begat, caused to be born, et direct object marker Mehuyael, right? So the Aleph Lamed here is a version of God. It's not really. It is one of the holy names. Um, it it's a short version, right? And it shows up in many names a lot. So Mehuyael, uh, God Mehui, I guess there. I think there are many different words, especially Umechiael, right? Causes to live, maybe God causes to live. Um, yeah, I would say it comes from Chava, right? Eve's name, Chava, maybe. Um, it is a name. Yalad et Metushael, right? So Metosh, I am not sure what that would come from. Metushael, Yalad et Lamech, right? And you'll see, actually, usually it's Lemech. It's turned into Lamech because it is at the end of the sentence. So yeah, the actual name is actually Lemech. It changed into Lamech because it's at the end of the sentence. Anyway, so King James, verse 18, and unto Enoch was born Irad, and Irad begat Mehuyael, I guess, and Mehuyael begat Methusael, and Methusael begat Lamech. I would have translated his name Lamech, but it is what it is. Okay, so NIV, to Enoch was born Irad, and Irad was the father of Mehuyael, and Mehuyael was the father of Methushael, and Methushael was the father of Lamech. Okay. So there is a Rashi explaining the conjugation here of So Rashi does explain, and you can go based on that. Veyivaled, and Irad was born to Enoch, and Irad begot Mehuyael and Mehiyael. So they're actually changing the names with thing. Right? Begot Methushael, and Methushael begot Lemech. Yeah. Okay. Because it is kind of strange that Mehuyael and so they actually so they have two different names. I'm not sure if they mean two different names or just because the Hebrew does seem to be slightly different. And this is not in the way that, I said like Lamech turn, right? I'm not sure. Maybe that should be two different names. I don't know. I am not big into the whole begats personally. There are many good commentaries that actually go through and like literally explain. If you're interested in that, I highly recommend actual commentaries which explain this stuff. Okay, verse 19. Vayikach lo lemech shtei nashim, shem ha'achat Ada, v'shem hashenit Tzila. Okay. Conjunctive vav, yakach, so it's in the imperfect, to take, right? Lo, to himself, right? So it's the prepositional lamed, the vav says to him. Lemech, right? Same name, but because it's in a different place. Lemech took to him to shtei, right? Shtayim, it is in the construct form of shtayim is two, shtei is in the construct form. Nashim, so this may be the first time we've had women, right? Ish is man, isha is woman. Anashim or ishim is men, and nashim is women. Okay, and I'm not precisely sure why it gets conjugated that way, but nashim it's used a lot. It just means women. Nashim, Shem, name, ha'achat, right? So this is the article he, one, achat meaning one. Shem ha'achat, so the name of one, of the first one, right? Shem ha'achat, Ada, so that's her name. Shem, which may be related to the word Eden. Veshem, and the name, so this is conjunctive vav, Shem being the name, being name. Hashenit, so the hey is the article, Shenit, right? Shen, so Sheni, right? Like we had the second day, Yom Sheni. So this is Shenit, but this is in the feminine, Shenit. Tzila. And Tzila, actually, I would say it comes from the word tzel, which means shade. Yeah, it's probably her name comes from the shade, as in shadow, right? Shade. Okay, let's see verse 19. And Lamech took unto him two wives. The name of the one was Ada, and the name of the other Zillah. And so they're translating it, NIV is translating it, Lamech married two wives, one named Ada and the other Zillah. I guess yet to take a wife to marry, right? In the Hebrew, it is that way. And Lamech took himself two wives. One was named Ada and the other was named Tzila, right? And there's a lot of Rashis here. Oh, and he actually says the name Ada comes from. Oh, okay. He says it comes from Surah, which means to turn away. It's actually Aramaic. No. You can look there. And yes, Tzila comes from Tzal, maybe. Yes, that's what he says. Okay. Verse 20. Vateled Ada et Yaval, hu haya avi yoshev ohel umikne. Okay. Conjunctive vav, teled, born, gave birth to. Ada, that's her name. Et, direct object marker. Yaval, so that's the name. It's similar to Jubilee. Who, right? So he, haya, was. Avi, so av meaning father. Avi, it's kind of in the construct form. It's Avi Yoshev Ohel Umikne. So he was the father of Yoshev, right? We had to dwell when we talked about Cain. To dwell, to sit, to dwell. Yoshev Ohel in tents, Umikne. Yoshev Ohel Umikne. I think the Yoshev goes on both of them. right? Ohel means tents, conjunctive vav, mikne. I'm not sure if we've had mikne before. Literally, I think mikne comes from kinyan, to buy. So it may mean, yeah. See, so they're translating here as purchasable domestic animals, right? So yes, it means cattle, but it it comes from kinyan kof nun hey, meaning to buy, right? Um, and actually, Kayan, like we said, also comes from that kind of, yeah, like we had in the previous verse. Umikne. So let's see, King James, verse 20, and Ada bare Javal, Yaval. He was the father of such as dwell in tents and of such as have cattle. And verse 20 in the NIV. His brother's name was, no, 20. Ada gave birth to Yaval. He was the father of those who live in tents and raise livestock. Excuse me. I had to take a drink because I have been speaking so much, possibly too much. Verse 21. Veshem achiv Yuval hu haya avi kol tofes kinor ve'ugav. Ooh, interesting. Conjunctive vav, Shem, name, we've had many times. Achiv, ach means brother. The yud vav there says his, and the name of his brother was Yuval, which is actually a very popular Hebrew name nowadays. Who, and here, so the pronoun who is being used as a substitute for, oh no, actually, yeah, as a substitute for to be. So this was here is referring to this. He is being used as kind of the present form of the verb to be, which we do in Hebrew sometimes. So, and the name of his brother was Yuval, right? Haya, he was, right? Avi kol tofes, the father, right? We said before it's in the construct form, the father of, right? Kol tofes, every kol we've had. So tofes, tefisa, right, means to grasp. Here they're translating it as to play. So you can try to figure out the verb here. Obviously, the pe and the sin are somewhere in there. Actually, tefisa shows up a lot in the Bible, I want to say. It's not just once or twice, but tofes means to grab onto, but here means to play. Kinor, which we actually find a lot. They're translating as the harp. Ve'ugav. So conjunctive vav. Ugav. I'm not actually sure what the root of ugav is, but they're saying flute. A reed musical instrument, perhaps a flute. So they're actually saying it may be related to Ayin Gimel Lamed, a gal, which means round, right? To be round. And Ugav shows up in the Bible 4 times. So yeah, there. I guess maybe Ugav is related to Agal, right? Maybe, maybe not. Uh, okay, but it does definitely make sense to me that both of these would be instruments. Kinor definitely is. It's a commonly used word. Harp. Okay, let's look at King James, verse 21. And his brother's name was Yuval. He was the father of all such as handle the harp and organ. So they're translating the Ugav as organ. Um, verse 21. His brother's name was Yuval. He was the father of all who play stringed instruments and pipes. Let's see what Chabad says. And his brother's name was Yuval. He was the father of all who grasp a lyre and a flute. Lyre, lyre. Right? Okay. Verse 22. Vetzila gam hi yalda et tuval kain lotesh kol choresh nechoshet uvarzel ve'achot tuval kain naama. Okay, so conjunctive vav, tzila is the name, gam also, he, right? And like I said before, that he that has that silent vav there, which is confusing, but so he is she, right? Um, also, and it's gam hi yalda. She also gave birth. Et direct object marker Tuval Kayin. So Tuval Kayin is actually a name. I don't know why I know this name so much. I think it may show up in other places. It's a very familiar name. There must be midrashim on Tuval Kain, or maybe we're going to talk about him further. Anyway, Tuval Kain, that's the name. It's kind of two words with Cain in it, right? So you'll see, yeah, Tuval Kain. Lotesh. So they're saying Lotesh is an instructor. I don't know this word because I am guessing it only shows up. Yeah, it shows up 5 times. And actually, apparently, it's used to sharpen. Lamed tet shin. To hammer, to sharpen, wet. Um, yeah. So I don't know why they're calling it instructor, but lotesh, right? Sharpener. Kol, every. Horesh. So they're saying craftsman. Hrisha, I believe means to plow. Let's look in the concordance. They're saying artificer. And they're only using it once, one other times in the Bible. I don't know why I think I know this word, because pretty sure it's used in other places, but well, okay. You have the concordance there. Horesh nechoshet is bronze, right? Many places in the Bible. Uvarzel, so conjunctive vav. Barzel is iron. Ve'achot, so conjunctive vav. Achot, even though it sounds like it's in the plural, it's not. Achot means sister, and here it's written b'milui. And the sister, right? Tuval Kayin, so the sister of Tuval Kayin, Naama. Her name is Naama, which is another very common name in yeah, it's a common name. King James 22, and Sila, she also bare Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron, and the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. NIV, Sila also had a son, Tubal-Cain, who forged all kinds of tools out of bronze and iron. Tubal-Cain's sister was Naamah. What does the note here say? Or he who instructed all who work in. Okay. Let's see here. Verse 22. And Sila, she too bore. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't put the 2 in the also. Well, they did. Okay, also and also, yeah. Okay. And she too bore Tubal-Cain, who sharpened all tools that cut copper and iron. And Rashi explains there. And Tubal-Cain was Cain's sister was Naamah. Okay. Verse 23. Vayomer lemech lenashav ada vetzila sham'an koli neshe lemech hazena imrati ki ish haragti lepitz'i veyeled lechaburati. Okay, let's see here. Vayomer, so conjunctive vav, imperfect of amar, to say, lemech, le nashav. So it is the prepositional lamed. Nashav means his wives, right? So nashim is women. Nashav is his women, his wives. Ada vetzila, so their names, Ada, and that's conjunctive vav, Tzila, Shem'an. So this is actually it's a conjugation that's used not in modern Hebrew but in the Bible. It is the feminine plural of listen, right? So Shema means listen, Shin Mem Ayin. And this is shaman, so you females listen, right? Actually, they females listen. Shaman kol i. So kol meaning voice, and here it's written bemilui. The yod at the end means mine. Neshe lemech. So nashim again in the construct form. Neshe lemech. Listen to my voice. So he's actually talking in the third person to his wives. Listen, the wives of Lemech, ha'azena imrati. So ozen, right? Aleph zayin nun. It's ears or listen. Again, a different form. So of to listen. This is Aleph Zayin Nun, which is slightly different from Shema, right? Listen. Imrati, so Aleph Mem Resh means to say. Imrati are the things that I say. Imrati, ki, so 4. Ish haragti. Ish means man. Haragti, hey, resh, gimel means to kill. We've had as before with Cain. Tough yud, meaning I have. So haragti, I have killed. Lepitz'i. So this is the prepositional lamed. Petza. This is not the same as the petza we had before. This is Pei Tzadi Ayin. Lepitz, and the yud at the end means mine, right? So Pe Tzadik Ayin, they are translating a bruise or a wound, and it's used 8 times in the Bible. You can use your concordance. Lepitzi, because of my pitz, right? So the wounding. Lepitzi, vayeled lechaburati. Conjunctive vav, yeled, comes from to give birth. I don't know why they're translating this as and even a young man. Lechaburati. The lamed is prepositional. Chaburati. So a chabura is a wound. Can also mean a conjointing. Let's see here. Chabura, a stripe, blow. From chabar, to scourge. I guess it's only used 7 times. Yeah, chabura. Yeah. Vayeled lechaburati. Let's see how this is being translated. King James. And Lamech said unto his wives, Ada and Tzila, hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech. Hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. Aha. Haragti. Right. So they're translating Haragti Ish haragti lepitzi. I killed a man for my wounding. Veyeled, and a child, and a young man. Yeah, yeled can mean kind of like a baby because it comes from to give birth. Lechaburati, for wounding me. Let's see what NIV says. Verse 23. Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Tzila, listen to me. So, okay, they're saying, verse 23. So, in the King James, it's saying, said unto his wives, Ada and Tzila, right? Hear my voice. Here, they're translating it as, he said to them, Ada and Tzila, listen to me. The quotation marks aren't in the Hebrew, so I don't know how they know which way it goes. But listen to me, wives of Lamech, hear my words. I have killed a man for wounding me, a young man for injuring me. Let's see what Chabad has. Now Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Tzila, hearken to my voice. So they're very similarly. Wives of Lamech, incline your ears to my words. So ozen means ears, incline. Okay. For I have slain a man by wounding him, and a child by bruising him. And there are Rashis here which explain things which you can look up yourself. Okay. Next verse. Ki shivatayim yukam kayin velemech shivim veshivah. Okay. So, ki, they're translating as if. I would probably say because. I usually translate ki as because. Shivatayim, so we said before sevenfold, or yes, we had before when we talked about Cain. Yukam shall be avenged, right? The hofal here. nekama, to avenge. Cain, Cain. Velemech shiv'im veshiv'ah, right? And conjunctive vav, lemech. So this is kind of a, it's a saying. 7 and 70 doesn't literally, I mean, it's the repetition that is the important part here. Like we had before, achol tochal, right? Eat shall eat. It is that similar type of repetition in Hebrew and Semitic languages. King James, verse 24. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold. And let's see, NIV, if Cain is avenged 7 times, then Lamech 77 times. That's the literal. Let's see, verse 24, if Cain be avenged sevenfold, then for Lamech it shall be 77-fold. Right? And there's a Rashi explaining that, which you can read by yourself. Okay. Verse 25. וידע אדם עוד את אשתו ותלד בן ותקרא את שמו שת כי שת לי אלוקים זרע אחר תחת הבל כי הרגו קין. Okay? Conjunctive vav, yeda, and knew, right? We had that before. Adam, Adam here, I would translate as the name, Od, and this is again bemilui. It's written fully with the vav. Et, direct object, marker, which is actually one of the ways there are people who there are midrashim which say that Adam had other wives as well, other than Eve. But et ishto, isha meaning woman, the hey turns into a taf, the vav meaning his, vat teled, conjunctive vav, teled, again from leda, to give birth, ben, son, vat tikra, conjunctive vav, and so this is the taf, so this is in the feminine, and she called him. So yeah, so and she gave birth, and she gave birth and she called him. So et shamo, so Chava was the one who gave vetikra, who called, direct object, marker, shem o, right? Shem means name, the vav at the end means his. Shet, right? Seth. Shin tuf, shet. Ki, because. Shat li, so this is a rare verb, I believe. Not so rare. 83 occurrences. Tashet, yashet, to set. Huh. Oh, you can look at the concordance there. To position, to put. Yeah. The root they have here is shin yud tet. Okay, interesting. Did we we had it in verse 3 as well. Ashit, right? God says, and I shall put. Yeah. Okay. I guess it's not used in modern Hebrew very much, if at all. Shat li, so it's the prepositional lamed, the yud for me, Elokim, right? That is the Shem Elokut. Zera, we've had many times before, is seed. Acher, another. Tachat, meaning underneath. Tachat hevel. It's actually in the construct. I believe, tachat. Well, tachat means underneath. Tachat hevel, so instead of hevel, right? And that is a common formulation. This instead of that. Ze tachat ze. Hevel. Ki harago kain. They're translating it as whom because harag hey resh gimel. That's the verb we've had before. Killed him, right? Above he killed him. Kain. So because Cain killed Hevel, right? Okay. King James. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth. For God said she hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. Yeah, seems right. Verse 25, NIV, Adam made love to his wife again, and she gave birth to a son and named him Seth, saying, God has granted me another child in place of Abel, since Cain killed him. Yeah. Okay, and they have the note here, Seth probably means granted. Well, I mean, you translated that word as granted, so I don't understand why they're putting it as a note probably instead of saying that it is related to the same word. But okay. Verse 25, and Adam knew his wife again, and she bore a son, and she named him Seth, for God has given me other seed instead of Abel, for Cain slew him. Right. Okay, and last verse for today, verse 26. Uleshet gam hu yulad ben, ויקרא את שמו אנוש, אז הוחל לקרוא בשם Hashem. Interesting. Okay. Conjunctive vav, the prepositional lamed, the name Seth, gam also, hu means he, also he, you, and to Seth also, Yulad. So this is in see again they are translating the word leda very differently than I would. So yeah, Yulad was born. Okay. I mean, it translates the same into the English. It just means different. They are assigning a different grammar to it than I would. I don't know. I'm not a grammarian. So, Yulad was born. Ben, that's a son. Vayikra, we've had many times. Conjunctive vav, imperfect of kara, to call. Et is the direct object marker. Shemo, Shem being name, and the vav his name, and called his name Enosh, right? Which is very similar to Anashim, person, right? Enosh. Az, they're translating to as then. I would say so. Huchal. This may be the first time we've had this verb to begin. To yeah, they're saying huchal, right? So this is in the hofal, meaning it is in the huh. Um, okay. Um, in the hufal, so there, I'm very surprised at what the concordance is doing here. They are saying that huchal is related to halal, het lamed lamed, which means to all kinds of things. This is not what I would. I am very surprised um, at how they are linking this, and I guess the other concordances don't necessarily agree with this. Um, yeah, I don't know what. Well, again, like I've said many times before, and I guess this is the perfect verse to be so confusing. It really does come out to the question of how you, what three letter, um, what three letters you turn into the stems, and I mean, it's translated as to begin, which I actually think is a completely different from verb from halal. Um, yeah, I'm confused here as to what the concordance is doing, um, which might just be because we're at the end. But huchal to begin. My personal, if I didn't have that concordance there saying that differently, I would have actually thought that it was het lamed he, meaning to fall upon, to begin. Um, but yeah, huchal likro b'shem havaya, and started to begin to call, right? Likro, to call. We've had kara many times. Um, it's prepositional bet, not without an article. Shem, the name of the Tetragrammaton. So Enosh was the first person who started calling in the name of God. He was a very godly man. Let's see what King James does with this verse. And to Seth, to him also was born a son, and he called his name Enos, I guess it's Enosh. Then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. Okay, let's see what NIV says. Seth also had a son, and he named him Enosh. At that time, people began to call on the name of the Lord, and the okay, or the note is or to proclaim. Yeah, I'm just wondering possibly if the concordance is somehow making some sort of mistake. I don't know. So let's see what verse 26, and to Seth also, to him a son was born, right? Yulad, yeah. And he named him Enosh, right? Then it became common to call by the name of the Lord. And I'm going to read the Rashi here because I want to understand what. So Hebrew huchal is an expression of hulin, profaneness, to name people and idols with the name of the Holy One, blessed be He, to make them idols and call them deities. So that is a very different understanding. I see. So actually, I guess the concordance is going similarly to what Rashi says, which comes from several different. Okay, so maybe my confusion is my confusion because Rashi is saying that the huchal comes from hulin, comes from profanity, right? And oh, I see. And then it became a common thing. See, this is what I love about Rashi. He completely changes the meaning that I thought I had for this verse. Why didn't I remember? It's one verse. I'm sorry. I didn't remember. But Enosh apparently, well, I won't blame him personally, but the meaning is very different from what I thought. And the punctuation peh, of course, telling us that there is a patucha, the actual there is a space within the scroll if you look at the scroll. Okay. That will end it for today. Thank you very much. This has been a blessing to me, and hopefully it is a blessing to you as well. And we will hopefully be able to together fulfill what it says, that all of us will be able to speak clearly and call in the name of God, not in the profane manner, hopefully in the way that it should be. Until next time.